Hello guys and dolls, I know it's been a while. I figured I'd have a little fun this morning. I got the original video of Tommy's rant towards Fiona and Mel and what he calls the Google Plus elites. I figured I'd have a little fun this morning. So let's give a listen and see what he has to say.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Tommy, thanks for joining me. And I just thought I'd make a little video here.
Oh, because that is what we need right now. We need to know the innermost thoughts of Tommy Hall on YouTube. The world is now a better place.
I've just here in the past week, and especially last night with our little cancer hangout that I had with G-Man, and then the after show on Dragnaut's channel, which included RSC and Fiona.
So you hang out with
and
RSC,
others,
Fiona, and others.
and
Mel on Dragnaut's channel. Also, so was the hangout cancer, or was it a hangout about cancer? You're not using your words very well.
I just have some various thoughts on all this.
Wow, you have thoughts? Is this a new phenomenon?
You know, the more I converse with these people, the more that I listen to them, the less impressed that I actually am.
So, the more you listen to these people, the less impressed you are? Are you sure you want to go down that road? Kind of reminds me of the Bertrand Russell quote that a stupid man's assessment of what a clever person thinks will never be accurate because it'll always be translated into something that the stupid person can understand. Well, that's you all over, Tommy.
You know, they think they're sophisticated, and they think that they can ride on the coattails of their college degrees.
Wait a minute. So, first of all, college degrees don't have coattails, you fucking moron. I understand it's a metaphor, but it's a shitty one. Secondly, college degrees aren't just given out. It's not something you find at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box. You actually have to work and put in some brain power, something that you appear to struggle with on the everyday. But, as somebody who is complaining about people doing the actual field experience while you sit your ass on a riding mower, it's just comical to me.
As if that poses as some sort of an argument when the actual topic of cancer or the subtopics within cancer or disease get brought up. Like, if they get shown up or backed into a corner, they just always, if you notice, go back to the fact that I don't have an advanced degree that they do, and that I shouldn't even dare approach them.
You back people into a corner. Oh, sweetheart. Tommy, listen. First of all, bubbles do not have corners in them. And you have been functioning in your own little bubble for years. If you could point to any place, anywhere, at any time, any hangout, any thread, any video where you backed someone into a corner, I would gladly watch that and take it apart in front of you. You display a level of Trey Jadlow misapprehension of your own cognitive abilities. This is a guy who couldn't figure out what the fucking blood-brain barrier was. And you're going to back others into a corner. Seriously.
You think in your mind that tumors are a good thing because they're a storehouse to keep all the bad stuff from being released in your body. Is that what you're saying?
In certain circumstances. But again, I don't see them as sophisticated. I don't see them as intelligent.
Back at you, buddy.
The more I interact with these guys, the more I see them as slightly brain damaged, condescending, and fake intellectuals.
How does one fake being an intellectual if they're brain damaged? Do you honestly think before you say something? Because I have no indicator, no evidence that leads me to believe that you do. Also, this is the thesis of Tommy's entire clip. This is the whole reason he made this thing. It is the bemoaning of someone who is crying about sour grapes. He doesn't have the experience, he doesn't have the degree, he hasn't done the field work because he doesn't know dick about jack, and he's aware of this. But when people show him up and actually display their knowledge over his lack thereof, well, he just turns into a bitter Betty. Within 2 minutes, Tommy Hall's venom is just flooding this video. He is so fucking bitter. It's just it. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's still kind of sad. But you know what I mean.
And some of them, like Fiona and Mel, they are so full of foam at the mouth hate for me that they can't even control themselves.
Psychological projection. Thy name is Tommy Hall.
I personally think they are so chemically poisoned that they can't even think straight. I mean, the way they act, go back and watch Dragnauts Hang Out. The way Mel acts, she doesn't act like someone who's got a PhD or advanced degrees.
Well, for starters, PhDs reflect achievement within a field. They don't reflect behavior. Just like your constant claiming of being on God's side or being a Christian or whatever the fuck that means doesn't necessarily reflect your lack of decent behavior, Mr. Hall.
She acts like that fruitcake weirdo that everybody laughs at school.
Such a random non-observation. Is there something you want to tell us, Tommy? Did something happen in your childhood?
I mean, think about it. They sit up there. I'm making the arguments that are not even controversial regarding poisons and pesticides and chemical exposures causing cancer.
Well, the reason they're not controversial, Tommy, is because most of what you're spouting is nonsense conclusions. Yeah, it's not controversial because it's not taken seriously. Because, as you will very rightly state later on, you're not the smartest guy in the room.
Yet they sit up there and they are condescending. And look at these monkey brains. They're up there trying to convince everybody that...
Up where? Is this your ivory tower? Are you having trouble right now understanding that there are people out there smarter than you, that if you interact with them, they're going to display their intellect that you lack? I mean, is this like your way of dealing with an inferiority complex? I'm curious because there is no way to take this seriously unless you are honest with yourself and you say, yeah, you know what? I am insecure about my own inability to learn things effectively and to apply them in a way that helps others. Whereas people like Mel and Sam and Fiona and Ian, and the people who've actually done the field work have demonstrated themselves highly qualified, whereas you are just some fucking guy on the internet.
Chemicals and poisons are loving. That chemotherapy is loving. That toxic chemical treatments that cause you to cough up blood are the smart and healthy way to go.
What are you on about, you gibbon? When has anyone ever talked about toxic chemicals being loving? You're just pulling that out of your ass.
And the funny thing about all of this is that I granted, I'm no genius. I'm a lawn guy.
Truer words were never spoken.
But the funny thing about all of this is they have to sit up there. And they have to actually debate the papers that I bring up and the quotes from the actual PhD researchers that are writing the papers.
They read the papers because clearly you haven't. You don't go past the abstract most of the time. And when someone gets into the weeds of what the studies actually say...
I haven't gotten there yet.
You don't know? They're not...
Are you nuts?
The ones that you post that you don't even bother to look up. It turns out, most of the time, it says something in direct opposition to what you have stated. Because again, you don't read the papers. They do it mostly for the benefit of other people watching. Because we already know you're fucking hopeless.
So they look like total idiots when they're presented with a direct quote that contradicts their position.
Tommy, you're the kind of guy who, after someone insults you, you would need the insult explained to you. How can anyone think that you grasp any paper that you post? I mean, yeah, all you have to do is look at the hangout that you did with Mel.
Do you know the difference between basic and acidic? What's the number that they said on the paper?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Are you familiar with flow cytometry?
No.
Okay, so you're not familiar with like 90% of what this paper is talking about?
No.
So, most of the time, You have no idea what you're talking about, much less what the papers say. And I know it's rather convenient that you are still claiming that you've never been corrected. It's because you don't even pay attention when you are being corrected. You're off doing something else to make yourself look stupid. And that's fine. Be stupid, but don't waste anyone else's time doing it.
And look at Fiona. I know everybody here doesn't go to Google Plus and read through the threads that I argue and debate Fiona in.
Again, you are wrong, demonstrably so. The internet makes an example of you every day you're on it, Tommy. And maybe that's been the goal all along. Maybe you don't even care if you're wrong or not. You just want the attention. Well, now you got it, big guy.
But let me tell you, man, she is so unbelievably snake-bit. She can't even move when we get together in a discussion. She's so afraid to say anything about cancer specifics or the biology or anything regarding the science. She will only talk about me as a person, how I'm a liar, how I'm an idiot, how I'm a lawn guy.
Yeah, because you are a lawn guy. Also, leave it to you to omit every single time that's been demonstrated in a live hangout that you lack any understanding of the subjects. What was I saying earlier about you ignoring your corrections? You have displayed what we call invincible ignorance. David Dunning and Justin Kruger wrote specifically about people like you, Tommy. You rate your low cognitive abilities significantly higher, and it's miscalibrated alongside your miscalibration of those who are qualified to speak on these subjects. In other words, you don't know dick about jack. You understand shit about shit.
I'll be quite honest, you lack a vast understanding of how the body works, that you clearly don't understand how biochemical interactions work on the molecular level in regards to the human body. I could sit here and tell you that you don't understand how the body works, and I do, and you can talk down to me all night if you want, but the fact of the matter is you are reading what you want, you're finding studies that suit your perspective. You're not giving me anything substantial other than a few abstracts here and there that suit your narrative. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to show you things, and I'm trying to explain to you basic fundamental science aspects that you don't seem to understand. And you're just like, you're just wrong. Okay.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you've said that several times that I'm just wrong.
Well, we have been wrong, but here's I have not been rude.
Yes, you have. You've talked down to me. You've talked down to me many times. You've just said I've just been wrong.
You are wrong. You know what, Fiona? I fully admit and acknowledge I'm not the smartest guy on the planet, but you know what, honey? I got the love of God on my side. I've got the truth on my side.
There it is, people. What did I say about invincible ignorance? God, protect me from what I need to know. Also, this whole thing about, the snake-bitten honey. What were you saying earlier about insults? You better hope that you don't see yourself in the nearest mirror.
Seriously, Fiona, do you honestly think you are superior to me? Look at you. You sit around, you're just nothing but a reflection of darkness and destruction. Look at your attitude. Look at your behavior. Your behavior is atrocious. Your name calling and your condescending arrogance is just a total disgrace to humanity and just makes a running joke of your degree. It makes a running joke of your PhD.
Darkness and destruction as in what, the number of citations that she has had attached to her research over the years? You mean the darkness that is reflective of the amount of work that she has put in after her PhD? What exactly are you talking about, Tommy? Because at this point, you're just kind of rambling.
And instead of enlightening people and instead of engaging in honest, thoughtful, intelligent conversation, all you can manage to be able to muster up is just some schoolyard bully tactics, name calling, and condescension.
Oh, man. I guess it would be kind of redundant of me to call you a hypocrite, but you are. You're a fucking hypocrite. Also, papers are discussed at length in Fiona's Hangouts and in other Hangouts. You just are conveniently absent from that. You can always watch those videos later on and have a discussion or have your own reflections, but instead, you decide to shitpost a video where you're calling female scientists names. And to be honest with you, it is very clear that there's an inferiority complex at play because you have two women, two members of the weaker sex, who have achieved more with their lives than you could ever hope.
You are just the kind of person that Satan gives a gold star to.
What the fuck does that even mean? What is that? I can understand now why you took this bit out of your video. By the way, this is the unedited version. Holy shit, Tommy. Okay, come on. Level with us. This is a character, right? You're putting on for us a parody of a fundamentalist in Texas. There's no fucking way you're real. I just can't take you seriously, dude. Gold star? Really? Do you talk to your wife like that? Do you give her a gold star every time she cleans up the kitchen or does your laundry or, lays out your clothes for you in the morning? What? What? Is that me being condescending? Is that me getting personal? It's no less personal than you or G-Man have already gotten about saying how Mel should go back into the kitchen. But let's just be clear. You're an asshole and you're jealous. That's the bottom line.
And look at you on Hangouts. Everybody can look at you and they can see that they can look in your eyes and tell that something's not quite right. It's like a little demon is in there running the show.
What were you saying earlier about personal attacks or personal insults? Again, you want to get that plank out of your eye, hypocrite?
I know. You're so much better than me because you got your degrees. You spray all your foods. You're steeped in chemicals. You're steeped in pesticides. You're steeped in antibiotics. You're steeped in GMO. You get all your flu shots every year, twice a year. You get your booster shots.
Oh, thanks for the reminder. That's right. I got to pencil one in. Also, yeah, my daughter has to get one too. But also understand GMOs exist everywhere. I'm sure you're aware of this, aren't you?
You desecrate yourself physically every which way but loose. But ultimately, all it's done is made you appear to be a truly whacked out elitist.
Yeah, the whacked out elitist who practices in fields of study that you couldn't even begin to understand on your best day. And the result of that is this negative attention given to someone who has knowledge that you yourself could never have.
Who's nothing but a mental case. But sure enough, look at it from her perspective. The last thing she wants is to be shown up by the lawn guy. That is kryptonite. That is her biggest fear. And it happens all the time. All the time.
Oh, you're so cute. Only in Tommy World is the reluctant hero fighting the conspiracies of big pharma and big science in a microcosm of YouTube that is dominated by gaming channels. Tommy, if I thought you weren't real, this would be the best character I think I've ever come across because you perfectly distilled Poe's law. I can't tell whether you're serious or not.
And it's the same with all these guys. They simply cannot allow themselves to be exposed by someone who is as unsophisticated as me.
Well, again, you're not going to get an argument on that point about you being unsophisticated. But you yourself have already displayed that you have no interest in being a scientist or learning anything. I mean, hell, I just wonder, though, if you've made all these discoveries and you've solved all these problems, what the fuck are you doing here? Aren't you obligated as a Christian to share your discoveries as widely as possible with as large an audience as possible? I mean, you should contact the nearest lab and get those results published and get your Nobel Prize. But you know what? You're not going to do that. And we all know why that is. It's because you know, and I know, And Fiona and Mel and Sam and everyone else knows that you're full of shit.
But sure enough, look across the spectrum of this group. Look at their characteristics. They're always angry. They're always mean.
I'll be honest with you, this is probably the most fun I've had making a video in quite some time. Probably because it's been a couple of years since I've made a video, but also, at this point, I'm not even convinced that you're a real person. I think you're just a character that's trolling, because you play yourself off as the Don Quixote character. You think you're the victorious one when you're really fighting a windmill. Honestly, it's a brilliant distillation of everything that is wrong with your, well, what you claim is your belief system. Again, I don't know that I can take you seriously anymore. You are the joke.
They're always miserable. They're always making fun of people. They're always looking for someone to yell at. They're very often vulgar. A lot of people on their side, they are obsessed with sex. They're obsessed with porn.
Can you point me in the direction of some of these users in this corner of YouTube? Because I'd like to hang out with them. But seriously, whenever someone on our side, if you want to play that game, start talking about LGBT rights, we're talking about their rights as people. Their ability to get married and to share work benefits and, basically have the same protections as straight people. Most of the time, I'd say about 95% of the time, when you are talking about LGBT people, you're not talking about rights. You, for whatever reason, you go straight to anal. Again, Tommy, is there something you want to tell us?
They're obsessed with going out and getting drunk. They're obsessed with getting laid. They're all on pharmaceuticals.
Well, I don't know about the pharmaceuticals thing. I mean, I don't have to take anything, but I am all about getting drunk and getting laid. Actually, I'm more about getting high and getting laid. But, it's rather funny that you have so far gone straight off the reservation. You're not even talking about science anymore. You're talking about moral judgments because you are an irritatingly judgmental and contemptible person. So much so that you can't even see straight, which probably explains why you're cross-eyed in most of your videos.
They're all on board with being steeped in pesticides and chemicals. These are the same kooks who think it's a-okay to kill their unborn babies.
You are completely off the reservation now, and now you're just waiting on the side of the road for the subway car. You are completely delusional.
Seriously, what a bunch of screw-ups. I know, this is all going to tick them off.
Oh, will you please stop masturbating to your own incompetence? Please, it's making me uncomfortable.
You guys can be mad all you want.
How does one get mad at a clown, exactly? Explain that, Tommy.
Got a billion-dollar scam going. This whole thing is sick.
Are you okay? Do you need to lie down?
Millions of unsuspecting people who have put their trust and faith in doctors and in the scientific community. They put their faith in this utter garbage that's passed off as science.
What garbage is that? You mean modern medicine? So does that mean you go to witch doctors or shaman? Honestly, Tommy, if you ever discover a tumor anywhere, don't go to the doctor. Just eat a bunch of broccoli and pray it away. See how that works.
When in reality, it's nothing but just poisonous substances that are teamed up with a sales pitch of just mostly gobbledygook that says, hey, you out there who have...
Come on, use your big boy words.
Of an accumulation of toxicity. Yeah, you idiot, come over here. Come over to our little cancer center.
Okay.
And let us
Maybe
shoot you up with some of our
you should consider writing out a script.
concoctions. Yeah, let us knock you up with our poisonous concoctions and we'll see how you feel.
Knock you up with our poisonous concoctions. Either you don't know what that phrase means or you have some questionable theories about the human body. Tell me, Tommy, and where do you stand on this stork theory?
Don't worry that all your hair will fall out, that you'll cough up blood. Don't worry that you'll vomit up your guts. And you'll do all this right before you wither away into virtually nothing. Just give us your money. Just give us your life savings. You'll feel better in the morning. Or at least maybe you'll forget about it because of your chemo brain.
Okay, let me just say this. As a son of a cancer survivor who underwent chemo and radiation and hormone therapy, let me just say this is why Jade calls Tommy Hall a dangerous idiot. Because he is rambling thoughtlessly on subjects that he knows nothing about and giving away really misinformation that is detrimental. He is spouting misinformation in an age where we need accurate information now more than ever.
Or then again, you may be just passed out in a coma because of your body couldn't handle the toxic overload of our treatments. Man, what a joke.
Okay, next
Sorry,
time
guys,
you
not
better
all
write
of
a
us are in
script
an intellectual
because
coma.
you just sound like a
Not all
rambling
of us are
buffoon.
just going to sit here and be run over by your stupidity. We're not all that stupid, and we're not all in a trance. Not all of us are impressed by the zombified freaks who tell us 2 + 2 = 9.
Gee, Tommy, if I didn't know better, I'd say you had an inferiority complex when it comes to your cognitive ability.
I don't know. Maybe I know. Maybe I shouldn't taunt them.
I don't think that I would ever consider an incoherent rant to be a taunt. But that's just me.
I don't know. I don't know though. Seems to me though, if we give in to fear, if the average, normal, everyday, clear-thinking individual gives in to these tyrants, then it's pretty much all over for society, and yourself and your family. And the thing is, I'm not even particularly strong. I'm not particularly courageous. I'm not particularly smart.
Wow. Tommy Hall is the Man of La Mancha. He is, well, more like the Fisher King. I actually like that movie a lot. But yeah, he's in his own little world. He's fighting the good fight. There he is, the reluctant hero, answering the call to adventure, at first denying it, and then saying, I have no choice. I have to get involved in this.
I'm pretty much a softie. I don't even really particularly enjoy arguing or debating or fighting.
I do not believe you.
But I have instinct, and I have a love for the truth, and I'm in God's hands. I'm incredibly simple. I'm sort of to a fault. I'm simple.
Again,
But
no
you know what?
argument
I'm
here.
real. And I have the truth on my side.
I have the power of God and anime on my side! Wait,
And what I see happening in society and within this particular community on the other side is just, it's frightening, because it's amazing how the human brain can be warped so easily.
Tell me about it, Tommy. Yes, the human brain is amazing, and it can be warped so thoroughly. You are a living example of that.
I mean, to condemn a group of people because they're not on board with treatments that ultimately lead to systemic poisoning and organ failure. I don't know. I guess I'm rambling. I got to wrap this up. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep ramming the peer review papers down their throats. They can't argue with it. I'm going to keep bashing their heads in with it.
What's with the image of ramming things down people's throats? Again, Tommy, is there something you want to tell the rest of the class?
And all they can do, if everybody notices, that just sit back and flounder like they did last night and talk about the surface stuff.
If by surface stuff you mean the actual studies, great. Then by all means, keep doing what you're doing and keeping a deliberate, living example of just how delusional one man can be. Because while the rest of the community will accurately quote the papers,
I'm not listening to scientist Mel because she knows things that I don't understand. So you're just going to throw out here that I'm just wrong because you're going to mansplain to me again something that I don't understand. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the spirited debate. I don't have anything against you. I know you don't. I actually do respect your opinions and all your schooling and all your information and all that stuff. So,
well, again, Tommy, you are demonstrably incorrect on this point on several fronts. There's an entire record. It's called the internet that displays just how wrong you are. And again, the day you can accurately cite a paper that you claim is running in your interest is the day that someone should take you seriously, and not a moment before. If you had solved any of these mysteries, you wouldn't be sitting here arguing with complete strangers on a network that you couldn't even begin to understand how it came together. Instead, you are full of shit, and you know you are, and so do the rest of us. In the meantime, this is Max saying, so long, and don't expect me back anytime soon, because I'll just be repeating myself.